He comes down to answer question.
We come down to answer question.
Yes, like he comes down to answer question, to answer our questions.
Adeke. Lillian Adeke, yeah. How's it been with? Hi.
All is well. I am doing my best to grasp everything and understand this whole thing of user experience, and it's an amazing journey so far. Yeah.
Are you catching up?
Yes, I am.
Are you sure?
Yes, I am.
All right. If you need help, you can always reach out.
Thank you.
All right. Just again. So the question I'm asking is tilted towards how the facilitator is doing. So it's not just about the session, it's about the session with the facilitator. So Nadia has been with the facilitator day 1 to day 3. Okay. I can't hear anything though. I'm not on Google Meet, so I probably will not. Yeah, you have to talk.
Hiya, hi all. Well, it was productive information.
Okay.
Learned a lot. The facilitator was, to me, honestly, he was going a bit too fast, and I prefer to be explained slowly. I don't know. This is my experience. Like that's my thinking and my feeling. But whatever he said, I had to re-listen to it again. But whatever he said, I feel like I've learned a lot, and it's making me more confidence towards my case study now.
All right. Thank you. So that's a feedback right there. I know Covenant is on this call, so there's noted, and also to upcoming facilitator. I think Ujolakwe is now here. So I've made Maiwa, Covenant, and Ujolakwe, you are now co-host. We've got 4 more minutes. Ayotope Onidashade. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. So how has the session been, especially with the facilitator day 1 to day 3?
Hi, good evening. The session has been really informative. Our teachers has been doing a really, really great work so far. He has been taking his time to try to carry everybody along, especially when he asks if anybody has any question. As in, occasionally while lecturing, he will always ask if we have questions, like just to prove, like to show him that we're actually getting along and we're getting what he's saying. And I think that's really, really great. I really, really appreciate his efforts and the effort of the community. Thank you, sir.
All right. So that's good. We've got 2 more minutes. Who should I call? Who have not spoken since we started? Who's good? Godly Life. Wow, that's a good name. Godly Life. How's the session been so far? The first 3 days with the facilitator.
Okay, good evening. So So far, so good. So far, so good. In as much as I initially felt like I was as good in creating a case study for my portfolios and designs, I this bootcamp has opened my eyes to see that there are a lot of things that I don't even know that I need to improve on. I need to learn and unlearn, and I'm beginning to observe and note everything down and begin to change my perspective on how I see things before. So I think this is an eye opener for me, and I've so far so good. I've learned a lot, and not even and seeing more. I'm also seeing more to learn as the boot camp goes on. So it's really an eye opener for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. So basically, we're moving to day 4, and we'll be having another facilitator moving forward, the second facilitator for this bootcamp. Every one of them is still available, so you can always throw your questions on the group. You can always ask a question on the call. Yeah, also on this call, Covenant is also on this call. So, but moving on, today we're going to be having Ojola Tunji, popularly known as Tech Baby. She's good. If I say she's good, she's good. And she's the one that's going to be taking us further. And I think I don't have any more to say in terms of, I think everybody now can edit on their Figma. I've been looking at the Figma file, and I know that we're definitely moving forward. Everybody has their partner now. If you don't have a partner, I think you should try and get one. So basically, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Ojola Tunji, popularly known as Tech Baby. So Tech Baby, the floor is yours.
Thank you. The way you said give it up for everything. All right, guys. Good evening, guys. It's so nice to be here and so nice to meet you guys. So, I want this class to be very, very interactive because we are talking about research and data, right? So, I think it's my favorite part of. So please confirm if you can hear me. Awesome. Okay. So this is my favorite part when it comes to case study, right? Because it's at this point where you when you know your there's something they say, right? This is where you know what you're trying to do, right? And this is where you develop the confidence when you're presenting to the potential clients for the recruiter based on personal experience, right? So I feel like this is one of like the most important part of you creating a case study. So before we get started, I want to ask if anyone actually carried out any type of research, maybe sending out survey or reaching out to people. Did anyone? Can you guys hear me? Just drop it in the comment section, yes or no. Okay, I can hear from Akombi. Who else? Nadia. Okay, then Emmanuel. Emanuela, yeah. Okay, so that means the rest of us did not carry out and then any form of search, which I feel like is necessary. You need to. So that means the assignment we are going to be getting today is supposed to be on research, right? Because I don't think you can jump that phase because it's very, very important. So I've also seen you guys have been coming up with your user personnel, right? So that's why I was wondering that did you guys did any form of research, right? Because I feel like it makes you more confident when you are presenting your case study because any question can come up. I've heard like I've been asked a lot of questions that I did not think about or anything, and And it might just be that one answer that will make you feel like, okay, I feel like this is more rampant with companies that are outside Nigeria as well, because they do more with number, they deal with number, they want to see that you can put in the work, you know what you're doing. So, and this is where you can express that, okay, yeah, I do field work apart from designing, right? I do field work. If you're applying for a designer, it's different. But if you're applying for a UI UX or a UX designer, you should be able to carry out research in your own little way. So even if it's just sending out survey, you should be able to do that. And if it's just like speaking to one or two people, you should be able to do that. I've done both of them before, and it helps. It complements each other, right? Because the I'm sure Mayo spoke about it. You user interview, right? You seeing the user one on one or being on a call with the user, just you observing their reaction to the question or how they're expressing themselves, it even give you another view of what they're experiencing on their product. So you will know if your product, if there's another factor affecting the review they're giving about your product, or the product is making them feel a certain way. So it makes you more confident about what you're trying to learn from the survey, while the sending out like survey to everyone also, because that one is used more to get like more data faster. But I still believe like blending both of them together would work. So even if you don't have someone you can interview one on one, you can interview your friends. You can interview. I think there's one of product I worked for that I didn't have anyone around that can actually like I can a potential user that I can actually interview. I just told my mom to just go through the application for me. So I prototyped it and I just sent it to her. Can you go through this? Because I was trying to redesign. Then I just told her to go through the prototype I came up with before, and she just told me how she felt about the product and stuff like that. I've done the same thing to my sister, to my friends, people around me, just to be able to have like a sort of data to back up my design decisions. Because at this point is where you would know the kind of design decisions you want to make. So coming up with it in your head or using you as an example would not work, because there are factors that determine what we do. What you like or the way you create some decision is different from it. Where even if you are facing the same problem, the way another person will approach that problem or approach that decision will be different from the way you approach it. Because number one, you guys are not the same. You don't think the same. The factor that is guiding your decision making is different from the factor that is guiding another person's decision making. So one thing say is we're going to, so even if it's one day, if it's user interview you can do, or sending out like research to people, I'm just going to use today to tomorrow to just gather all those things around, because it just helps. Honestly, I know we always try to like jump out of that phase, but then it helps a lot because it just give you that. It's fascinating, right? Because you understand, it gives you an idea of what the way people think. So I'm just going to share my screen and we'll go through what we have today. So does anyone have any question before we move forward? Okay, I guess we don't have any. So I'm going to share my screen now. Okay. So then I'm trying to. Can anyone see my screen?
No. It's not
Okay.
showing.
No.
All right. All right. I'll do that again now. All right.
I can see your screen now.
Awesome. Yeah. I guess you guys can see. Yeah, can see. Okay, so what we want to do today is turning our data we got from our user interview into meaningful solution by empathizing with users. So that's what I'm trying to say, that this phase have to do with you carrying out research and using the results you got from your research. I know you already have a user personnel, so that can work too. But this section is supposed to be using the results you got from um your user research to come up with it with empathy map, where you understand how what your user needs, how they feel, what they want, right, and what they are thinking about. So when coming up with a user survey, this empathy map is supposed to guide you on the type of question you ask. That way you'll be expecting a certain type of response from them that will help you create your empathy map, like the questions you ask that will make you understand what's your user thinking, how they feel, what they do or what they want. So structuring your survey that way would help you in getting the response you want, and you creating a empathy map will also help you creating your user story. So when I say what is user story, so user story is more of like what your user wants to see on your application, the tasks they want to carry out, what are the things they want to be able to do on your application or your solution you come up with. So we're just going to go straight into it. So what do we want to discuss today? Learning how to consolidate your research findings into actionable insights, like I said, identifying your key user pain points and area of improvement. So when you understand your user pain points, how do you want to turn that pain point into something you can use in your application, right? Then how to practicing empathy, mapping, and problem statement. I think the last one is that of discuss. You already have a problem statement. I think the last one should be how to. So I'm going to be changing that into how to come up with your user research, because I want you guys to create your user research. So sensitizing is a process of organizing research data to uncover trends, patterns, and relations. It's about connecting the data together. So, like I said, it's about you connecting what your user feel, right? What they want, what they feel, what they do, and what they are expecting you to do as a service provider. So, you coming up with that data is like you're bringing everything together. So that's why I use this image here, right? So you are bringing all the papers, all those data you've collected from your research, you bring it together and you now come up with something that will help you. So it's not that you are just sitting there and you just think about, okay, I think I just want to add transfer to this particular application, or you want to add this particular thing, but you having a reason why you are doing it, instead of you just coming up with it, you have like a reason. So when a recruiter asks you that, why did you add this thing to the application? Why did you add this feature? So you'll be able to say because of this from the survey or the response we got. So this will also help in when you are trying to do usability testing or you are measuring the success of your application. So you'll be able to measure it from what your user said they wanted initially from the beginning process and what they got at the end. Were you able to give them what they want? So that's like a success metrics too, or you need to go back to the drawing board to go back and restructure your whole case study. So why is it important? To make sense of raw data, like all the data you've gotten together, you are able to like draft everything and just make sense of it. So because you might get a lot of data that are not really necessary to what you want. So you're able to filter out because you get a lot of feedback from people, even people that don't even know what they want, they just give feedback. But then you're able to see pattern, maybe a particular 5 set of people said they want this particular feature. You're able to pick it, you're able to see the pattern in responses from your user. So you know that, okay, this is a real problem we need to tackle, or it's something we can lead to the next version. To guide solution focused design, like I said, it helps in design decisions. All your design, everything you do, the button you place somewhere needs to have a reason behind it, apart from the fact like, yeah, I want my UI to be nice and stuff like that. I'm a UI person, but at the same time, I still want that UI should have a design decision behind it. So when someone asks you, anyone can even throw the question like, so why did you use this color? You'd be able to say, I'm designing for kids, I'm designing for adults, I'm designing for a fintech app. That's why I'm using this particular. So you have something to guide your design decisions. And the last one is to ensure user-centered outcomes. So that's what I'm saying about like your success metrics at the end of the day. So when you are done with your case study, you told them this. At the end, and it's one of those things that recruiter wants to see, what is the outcome of what you created of this whole case study? So what were you able to achieve? Did your user like your case study? Did they like your products? Were they able to use it? How many people was able to test your product? How many people is satisfied with it? Do you need to go back to the drawing board? And you need to know that not all case study needs to end like with a success story, right? There are sometimes you might just want this, we tried this thing and it didn't work, and we are still going back to the drawing board. It's part of the process they want to see too. So you need to make sure that those outcomes, it guides the outcome. So you are following a pattern all through. So you are not deviating out of the whole process of what you're trying, the reason why you started this whole process at the beginning. So I think it's one of those things. So when I started learning UI UX, right, one of the projects I worked on was I picked something around me, and I used to say it every time. When you want to create a case study as a beginner, pick a problem around you, a problem statement around you that you face or the people in your community face. So the reason why I'm saying that the people you want to research is accessible to you. You don't have to come up with your idea. You are using something that is accessible to you, people you can reach out to. You can print out survey in the paper or just go and meet them like, guy, I want you to do this, do this, do this. You can even ask them questions without even telling them that you're doing an interview, because I feel like when you tell people you're doing an interview or something, they might have that guard off. But if you have it like a conversation with them, right, they will just start spilling things that are not that you don't know, and you have all the data you need, right? So you have everything. So that's why I advise that you pick something that is around you. The problem you face, it might be electricity. I did a project recently with one of my students, and it's on, if you're staying living in Nigeria, you know there's an issue with prepaid. So we did something on prepaid meter, how creating a solution that will make it easy for users to access that prepaid, to read the meter and all those things. I have to have it on your mobile app to do all those kind of things. So you picking something around you makes it easier for you to defend. So before maybe you're trying to get that big job or something. So when you present your case study, it shows that you actually know what you're doing, right? You know everything about what you created. So even if they're asking you questions, like very serious questions, you can answer it well because you did all your research process. So I'm going to go to the next page. All right, steps to consolidate your insight. Number one is organize your data. So like I said, I'm trying to see what we can use as an example. So okay, we can get to the last screen. So before we do that, so the first one is organizing your data. Group your findings into categories. So quotes, behavior, and emotions. I feel like user personnel have helped in doing that. But before you create your user personnel, so where did you get your finding from creating the user personnel? Did you carry out those research to create your user personnel? Make it personal. Let them know how you came across their okay. How you came across. Okay, this is the example I use. But what I'm trying to say here is let them know how you want to solve this particular problem, right? And how you choose to gather the data together. Then another one is to look for patterns. Like I said, identify recurring issues or themes in their user feedback. So what I'm saying is maybe you reached out to one person and the person said that I need them to notify me when they are bringing my package. And another person said, I don't even know when they are picking that package. I don't know if they are going to deliver it today or tomorrow. Another person said, I went out and they just called me that my package is here. I did not even know they are bringing it today. So you can see that feedback is almost the same thing we get like from every user as well. They just framed it in a different way, right? So if you might want to categorize, so you might want to look out for all those kind of feedback to know that okay, this falls into a particular category and how many people have that same feedback. So you want that way you can even start prioritizing your futures. The one you want to add to your case study now, or if you want to do something like a version 2 or something, what you are going to do to the version 2 of your case study or your product. Group related data points to form meaningful categories. So you've been able to group all these problems. So the one I spoke about, you can group it as a notification, and you can group another one as, depending on the feedback you get, you should be able to group it on that. You might not name it notification because notification might not come to your head, but you might name it as like maybe calling or something. Just be able to group it based on the feedback. You don't want to group them one by one because it might be too much. Imagine you interview or you send survey to like 50 people. You can't be grouping them one by one. There will always be a pattern of people answering like, no, I don't like this thing, or yes, I don't like this thing. People cannot just give like the whole rest. So that's why you need to structure your survey in the way whereby you get the actual, see that this person is saying yes, I don't like it, or no, I don't like it, and this is the reason why I like it, and this is the reason I don't like it. So focus on high impact areas using methods like must, should, could, and wouldn't, which is more of like what your feedback from the person in the interview is saying like they should have like. So I think I'm going to use the example of the meter management thing we did. So one of the feedback we got is like 90% of the feedback we got is they don't even know how to recharge their meter apart from using like your mobile, like using your normal mobile app, your bank app, or going to POS to go and they don't even know where else. Some people don't even know that you can use it through your mobile app. They just go to POS and tell them to load. Though if some even carry their whole machine to take it to POS to go and recharge it. So that's a must. Should, what are the things that is necessary and should be in the application? Is it something like they should be able to manage or see how they're using their meter, what's their meter usage are? Food is something you want to, okay, maybe you have like responses of, I'm trying to see what I can use as an example. Okay, maybe they want like a website or something and they have a mobile app, right? But then they want a website and the website and the mobile app might want to ask the same feature. So it's something you might want to code. Do you want to do it immediately or you want to consider it for version 2? So something you want to think about, and what are the things you don't want to include? So maybe just people just said 2 people are giving a whole idea that is not is not aligning with what your case study is about or what the product is about. So that might fall into the category of things you are not thinking about it for now. So that's why I said it helps in design decision and even prioritizing the futures you want to have in that application. Your user research will help you with everything once you know how to categorize and ask the same question. Once you do your user research, I feel like you already make those decisions. You don't need to brainstorm what you want to have in your application and what you don't want, because your user research have helped in doing that. So how do you identify pain points from your user research? Review findings from frustrations, blockers, and unmet needs. I think we spoke about that. Frustration. So if you want to create something, I saw something on the page on health bar on the Figma file on health, but I was not able to read it well because I feel like one of the things I like doing, like making research on the health industry. So reviewing your frustration or unmet needs is very important because you need to be able to understand. So I think this is where empathy comes from. You need to be able to put yourself in the person you are interviewing. You need to be able to put yourself in their shoes and try to think about the factors of the reason why they are facing this kind of issues. You need to know, is it a personal thing that is out of reach, that I feel like even if you develop it in your product or in your case study, it might not even help them, right? It might not help at all. It might not help solve that problem they think they are facing um in your solution, right? Or is it something you feel like when you create a solution for it, this is actually a blocker or a frustration they are actually feeling that, when you add it as a feature in your application, it will solve that problem. Right. The second one is observe gaps between users and expectations and experience. So I think this one has to do with sometimes users might be delulu to a certain level, right? And they want an application, a particular feature that might be out of reach for your product or your case study at the moment. So you need to be able to like know and ask the questions. We can say on a scale 1 to 10, how do you need this thing, or how do you rate you need this thing? So that would help you determine. So when you get like, maybe you send out surveys to like 50 people or 10 people, and on a scale to 10, you ask that question, and like 8 people is saying that they don't, on a scale to 10, they're just facing a particular issue for like 40% or 50% or something like that. You'll be able to know if it's something they are actually facing, or it's something you just want to put aside for now, or you want to add it to the solution or your case study you're trying to create. So prioritize pain points based on impact and frequency. So when I say based on pain points on impact and frequency, so I'm going to give a scenario whereby, so one of the case study I wrote is I think in 2021 is about Lagos BRT, right? So I used to ride BRT to work every day, every day, every day. So when I finish from work late, like 8 p.m., and I get to the bus stop, I meet a lot of crowd there, a lot of people. Sometimes I will leave the BRT bus stop 10 p.m. because I could not get the bus. So then I just thought about it. Okay, this is an opportunity for me to create my first case study, because then I didn't have any case study. So what I did is I started with, when people are gathered, you see people that will start gisting about different things. So one of the things that I think that sparked my interest is one man was talking. He was telling somebody else that like a day before he was robbed at Ikeja under bridge. I don't know if anyone know Ikeja under bridge. That he could not get a BRT bus, so he went to Ikeja under bridge to take a bus. That they robbed him, they took his phone and all. Like, he was really feeling bad. I was like, this is interesting. So I just noted it down in my phone that, and I was like, that's when I decided to. I'm just going to speak to people, make friends, not like but then when you are just waiting for bus, you can quickly just pick up conversation easily. You can talk about football, talk about the weather, or talk about stuff like that. So that's like a very big impact that problem, that pain point had on that person. And I was able to discuss with other people. I spoke to someone that is working in Lagos Island, sell market in Lagos Island, because they can't get bus, they get to work late, they get back home late and stuff like that. To know how frequent and how the impact that particular problem has on that user. So you know if you are going to prioritize it, if that's going to be like your unique selling point. So there's something we call unique selling points, right? So it's that one thing that is your main thing for your case study or your product, right? So that's that thing. Like most of fintech now is like open now, like you can get transfer in 1 second or 1 minute that they send it to you. So something like that you want to use it to attract people, right? Like, you know what, I know 90% is facing this problem. That's what my solution or that's what my case study is talking about. So you being able to measure the impact of that pay point, and that frequency is how many people is facing as that big impact. This problem is having a big impact in their life. So you'll be able to measure it on that and know how you want to prioritize your features you want to have in your product and your case study. So you hear me talk about products, because I feel like the more you have the perspective of having like a product, a real life product, it will help you in decision making. Because a case study, you'll be like, it's not going to go live, then you can do anything you want. But then when you have that perspective, is a big product, because someone can see the idea and be like, okay, let's develop it. So that will also help in decision making, and you don't want you to just make your decision based on like on a very low scale and just like just case studies, let's just put it there. But then you need to also think outside case study. You need to think about real people, right? So because UI UX right now, I feel like it's more of how you interact with a real product and how you interact with real users. So I'm going to ask questions before we continue. So does anyone ask question or feedback? Or are you guys enjoying the meeting? Okay. So I guess there's no question or feedback. So I'm going to continue. So area of opportunity, how can you turn frustrations of the pain point of what you found out from your users? How do you want to turn it to opportunity, and how do you want to turn it to a product that's going to satisfy them? I think that's the existing solution. I'm trying to remember. So I think this has to do with if you are redesigning a product, right? So when you get all those feedback from the users, and also I'm thinking I'm sort of if you are redesigning an existing product that is live already, you might, if you don't want to do research, you might want to go to their um the App Store, Play Store to check the feedback from people, because they get a lot of feedback from there, a good feedback or bad feedback. And you also want to download the application. So when you note like time feedback, right, you want to download to check if they've implemented that feedback into the application or if it's still missing. So when you are creating your case study, you'll be able to tell that, okay, this feedback has not been improved or not. When they want to ask that, how did you know the user is facing this one or two things, you'll be able to add that as a evidence of you trying out the research, and from the research, this is the feedback you want to, this is the new solution you want to come up with based on their pain points, new ways to enhance user satisfaction, right? So I'm going to still use the example of the person I interviewed or spoke to that said she used to get to work late and she used to come back home late. So one of the things I did is, and she said something about she doesn't. So one of the main problem we face is we don't even know if bus is going to come or not. We just wait there and feel like, okay, bus is going to come. And there are a lot of times whereby once it's 8 or 9 p.m., somebody will just come out and just say, I'm sorry, there's no bus, there's not going to be bus today, or you guys have to move, or stuff like that. So one of the things I did in the design I created is a page for bus where you know what time all buses is going to come to a particular station, right? So when you are registering to the application, you can pick a particular station where you pick your bus from, maybe from Ikeja to Island to Ikeja. Then you get list of all the buses that is going to be around today. So maybe one bus is going to come 7 a.m., one bus is going to come 12 p.m. or stuff like that. You having that list of bus. So when you, as a person that takes bus, you know that, okay, I want to go with the 2 p.m. bus, or I want to go with the 10 p.m. bus. So if there's no way to be bus that's going to be available, then you get a notification that it's raining, the bus is going to be delayed or stuff like that. So that way you are able to solve the solution of people not knowing that there's not going to be bus around and leaving late, whereby they'll go to Ikeza under bridge and get robbed. So when they know that by 8 p.m. there's not going to be bus, they won't even bother coming or waiting behind for the bus. So that is like turning the pain points into like a solution, an opportunity for you to create a solution that will tackle that particular pain point. Okay, so this is, I don't know if we should go into empathy map or try to create our research questions. So I think we can also use that to create a research question. So what is empathy map? An empathy map helps visualize what users say, think, feel, and do to gain a deeper understanding to their experience. So that's what I've been trying to explain, like what your users feel, or what a particular user feel about a product, how they feel, what they do regarding that. If it's an existing product, like what do they do on that product? How do they feel about the product? What do they think? And if it's something you want to come up with, how is that particular problem making them feel? What do they do about it, and how do they think, or how do they feel if they're feeling bad, or you know what, I don't want to think about it. So you being able to understand that and like visualize it, to categorize it. So this will also help in like categorizing the features and knowing the kind of features you want to have in the application. Purpose is to foster user-centric thinking. So like I said, it's all about your users, right? It's all about your users, because if your user don't, let's think about, like, if it's a real life product, if a user don't use your product, how are you going to make money, or how is your company going to make money? So it has to be about your user 90% of the time. Yes, but sometimes you need to factor in what your company wants to. So, but then it's about the user. How you can't make it about yourself, or you have to make it about them, what they want. So, empathy map will also help you to filter out things that you need, things you got from the user research that you feel like is not necessary for now, or the things that you feel like, okay, these are the things you want to go for. So, structure is say, think, do, and feel. Say is user quote or a direct feedback. Think is internal thoughts or motivation. Why do is observable actions or behavior. Why feel is emotion, experience during the interaction or that problem they currently face. So this is where we're supposed to come up with an empathy map. And I have a scenario here. But I want us, so this is going to be like, if you want us to go back to create a user research, we try to create our problem based on this feedback, based on this empathy map. We're going to use it to structure like a questions we can send out to people. So it doesn't, because we have a short period of time, it can just be like 2.2. So if you can interview like 2 people, I think we'll work with that. Or if you can just send a survey to like 2 people, or you know that they can feel it immediately, so we know we have something we can work with, then you can now come up with your empathy map. So let's go to see what we are gonna do. So should we come up with a user question, or we should just go to our empathy map. What do you guys think? Just drop it in the comment section if you want us to go ahead with the empathy map. Or we should create like a short survey we can send to people. Guys, let's drop something in the comment section. Can you guys hear me? I think, okay, let's create an empathy map. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. So we're going to go to the Figma file. I think that's the last thing we'll be doing. So we just create hands-on empathy map together. I've created mine, but based on what I have here, I can just recreate it so you'd see from what I've done there. You guys can create. So I'm also trying to pick from the problem statements we have already to see, and the user personnel you created to see how we can create the empathy map together. I'm going to share my screen for the Figma file. So just hold on. Okay, I'm going to share my screen now. I think I will have to share my own screen because I can't see it my head. Okay. Alright, can you guys see my screen? So I'm just going to draw this frame here to just get it ready. No. Just divide it into four. So we have this ruler. We can just use this ruler to divide it. Then just because we have pink, blue, and I think C. Yeah. So I'm just going to divide it into four this way. Yeah. So I'm going to paste the sample I created earlier on the file. So we can use that as an example. So alright, so I created this earlier. I also added the pain points at the bottom. Then we have do, think, say, think, do, and feel. So I'm going to add say here. Going to add feel. Feels, yeah. And we have say here. Yes, and we have to. And we have. Okay, few is supposed to be under. Why is my test? Oh, yes. Just going to drag this one down a bit. Maybe. So, yeah. So we have this here. So I'm just going to go through some of the user personnel created. Then we can use that to structure our theme, and say, I think I'm going to look at this um healthcare app and see what we have on the user personnel. So we have James is a full-time software engineer working in fast-paced company. His wife is a nurse. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So let's start from the problem. Yeah. Children. Okay. Released medication of vaccination. Okay. All right. So the goal is to simplify the health management. We remind us, okay, for appointment. All right. So I think from the problem we can already see one of the things they do, which is like just correct me if I'm wrong. They missed the time they're supposed to give their kids medication or vaccinations, right? And it impacts the children's overall well-being. So we have an action that they do here. So we have our do here. So I'm going to also check the frustrations too, because the frustrations can be how they feel. So we're going to go with, let's pick our do first. So you can see I'm picking it from the problem questions and the user personnel. So I'm going to pick from here. And let's say list medications and vaccinations. Okay, I'm going to go to what we created here. You can also see what I used in example. You can look at this. This is the one I created earlier. So you can look at that. So I'm going to okay. Just put on them. I'm trying to remember the name of the. Is it James? So let's go to how feels, which can be like a frustration. So we're going to pick. You can just pick one or you pick two. So I'll just pick one. So you can pick the second one here. So that would be fuel. What is currently filling? Why is this? Using 32. Okay, so let's fill the things. And where do we pick our things from? So let's pick our things from home. We can actually pick it from something else. So let's see what we have on home. You can pick use a remote simplifying. What is it thinking about? So we can use keeping his children healthy and maintaining work-life balance. That's a good example of picking work things. I don't want scattered file unless I would have moved that stuff up instead of going up and down. So I'm just going to move this up. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm trying to maintain my steez with this design. Just make it look a bit arranged. All right. So I'm gonna move this up. So we have our thing. Oh, I keep changing. I think 35. Then we have 5 bits. The color. Okay. Then for our say, let's see what we have here. So say is what saying out loud, right? Or what is okay. I'm trying to see how we can get our say with the user personnel. So let me just get this here before we change it. And let's look at the user personnel. So I'm using the user personnel because I'm assuming you've already done your research and these are the feedback we got from. So let's look at the second posting. Saying overwhelmed by the as difficulty remembering the that's a good frustration. I like that. Feel anxious about handling minor emergency without guidance. Okay. What's the age? I think we can use this as say because I feel it's something someone will actually speak up on. So we use this as say. Oh, should be cute. Right here. Then we have our C. So we can have more than one point. I just wanted to add one point. If you see the example I dropped, we have more than one point there. Okay. I'm going to align this. So, yeah. Okay, so we have an example of what our empathy app is all about, and it's about the feedback we got from our users. These are all the feedbacks we want. You can also mix it with the goal they want and the things they want to see in the application. So it helps in prioritizing the solutions we want to come up with. So one spoke about James mixing and mixed the medical and vaccination. So that means you might want to be like a reminder wants to be on the application to remind James that your child is supposed to take this application at this particular time. So you need to like give it to your child by that time, and also finding it challenging to balance work commitment with child healthcare needs. I'm trying to understand that. So that's why I added there. So are you trying to say is when you have the application that remind you about everything, really help with the balance challenging to balance work commitment. So are you saying that when you use the application, it's going to help you with the work commitment and balancing your child needs? I think that's a bit because you want to think about like, okay, are you saying the application will help you do better about like caring for your child in a way? I think that's so that's why I added because I feel this frustration is a bit controversial. Are you saying when you have just one app will help you manage the commitment to your child health care needs? So I think it's controversial. That's why I added them. Then you also have keeping his child healthy while maintaining. I think these are like the same thing. I'm going to change this thing because they are like keeping his child healthy while maintaining work-life balance. I would say I'm going to change it because they almost sound the same thing. So we're going to look for something else about this thing to change that so we can touch on different perspectives. Then feeling anxious about handling minor emergency without guidance. Yes, I feel that. So when maybe your minor has like edit or something and you can't even so that you can browse through the application. So I think this is also giving another feature idea, right? Because you're feeling anxious about handling your minor's emergency. Okay, so maybe the minor is having stomach pain or the minor is stooling, right? So what do you want to think? And you just don't want to think about something. The phone can have a feature whereby you can put in like some like symptoms the person is facing, and the future can bring up like suggestion of what's wrong and what you can do as a first aid kit. I'm giving you future idea now. So this is like now giving another idea to what you can do with the applications, right? So you might want to do something whereby you input the symptoms the person is facing, then the application can give you like suggestion on what to do, or like a first aid kit, just to be able to get the person better than before you can rush the person to hospital or stuff like that. And or maybe you want to there's this thing that I've forgotten the name, this oral thing where you use I think salt, sugar, and water and stuff like that. So you can come up with that idea just to get the person balanced a bit. Then you cannot rush the person to the hospital or see a doctor or stuff like that. So that's the future idea. So let's change this thing. So let's see. I think I picked the two from here. Yeah, I picked the two from here. Okay, looking at this, is this a motivation? Keeping his children healthy for them. Let's see. What's her name? Sarah. Okay. Let's see. Overwhelmed by the volume of the healthcare information online and unsure about it. Okay, that makes sense. That's difficult to remember. I think we have something like that. We have ensure challenge. We have something like that to receive clear guidance. Okay, I think this is what I'm talking about. So the application can also help in like the clear guidance on what to do on first aid kit. Like I said, like coming up with an idea on the first aid kit, right? Whereby you can just impute the symptoms and just come up with something you can just quickly do for the patient before you now rush the person to hospital, that kind of thing. Then let me see the growth of my this can be few. I think we're looking for few, right? Let me check that again. Because I don't want it to be repetitive. We already have something similar to that, so I just want us to switch it up a bit so we can touch all the what we have on the user personnel. Okay, let's use this. So we know we've touched everything. Because looking at most of them, they are different tests, but then they almost have like the same result or something you come up with to touch on everything together. So let's look at this again before we decide. Worry. So see another thing about what I talk about. Worry is about identifying symptoms quickly when you start falling. So that's why you can just quickly type those symptoms online and they'll give you like a suggestion on what to do on it. So let's use that one. So I'm going to change this to this. Make sure I'm using the same size. This is a bit for you. So we have our empathy map here, and it helps in being able to analyze what your user needs. These are your frustration, their needs, what they feel about a particular problem. I feel like this helps you in coming up with a user story. Like I said, okay, so why I spoke about like finding overwhelm. So now what I spoke about is you being able to come up with a future whereby you can just upload the symptoms of the child and you get like first aid action you can carry out or what to do just to stabilize the child. So that's like a user story, right? You've created an idea on a future, right? So the user story can just say you just what are the actions you want to do. You want to be able to upload few symptoms of the child or what the child is feeling and you get a result on what to do. So it already helps you in you don't need to stress on ideas on what you want to have on your case study because when you analyze the feedback you get from your users, right, you already have an idea of what you want to do, right? You already have an idea of what um the future you want to add because everything is in your research and everything is in on the feedback you've gotten from your users. You just need to analyze the data well and you have everything you need. You don't need to think about anything else. So is there any other questions? I'm thinking of doing one more empathy map before we end the section. But before going ahead, do you have any question or any observation you want me to touch on? Questions, observation, or your idea. Okay, so let's just go to, let's see if we can create another one before we round up the class. Okay, which one did I say? I don't want to do feedback. I'll see feedback again. Let's see this one. Ultimate. Not something I'll come for it. Please food up. Interesting. storytelling. Mental, yeah. Let's do something for this. Let's see what we can create here. Aisha and Oluwashefumi, you might want to increase your test a bit because they are a bit smaller. So you will be able to say it better. You can do that later. So let's look at the problem statement. People struggle with anxiety and mental stress, experience frustration and disengagement. Okay. Objective, design a visual routine and design that can reduce stress. Frustration could be very okay. Okay. Yet effective mood tracking. Introduce the So what I want to suggest is there a future that can help the person feel a bit better immediately? So, because I'm thinking if the person is feeling sad, right? And you just want to open the app and see something that will make the person feel better. Is there a particular feature whereby, okay, let me say, a quick result is practical tips such as self-help, mindfulness, techniques, daily affirmation. But then I'm just thinking, is there something that when they just log into the app, there is like 60% assurance that they'll feel better immediately they come into the app because they're still going to take time. I feel like you still need strength or a bit of motivation before you even think about booking a therapist because he has a lot to do with even feeling better to a certain level to know that okay, I need a therapy at a point. So you need to in that state of mind to think that yeah, I think I need help, right? So but when you feel shitting in that particular time, what is that one thing, right? That you feel like this person, when this person see would would make that person feel better. So one thinking is you can add something like a future when they are registering, you can ask maybe what they like to do. I'm just suggesting, I don't know, right? Because I don't think that I've used a lot of mental health and I'm not sure if it will work. I'm just giving a suggestion. So maybe when they're registering the application, right, when they're doing their bonding, maybe you can ask what they like to eat or the kind of movie they watch or something like that. So you keep that in mind. So maybe anytime they log into the application, there is something about that their favorite thing that can pop up, right? So maybe if the person like eating, because I like eating beans and plantain, right? So maybe when I log into the app, I'll see like a meme or something like I've been eating beans and plantains today. I'm just saying something that will just make them say it takes just something that'll make them laugh a bit. That might not say, okay, I think I need help. Because if you're really feeling bad or feeling moody or having that extreme mood swing, right, you might not even want to think about booking any therapist because at that point you don't even want to listen to anybody. So if there's something that when they log into the app, there's something, just one thing that can just make them feel better a bit, maybe like 5% or something or 10%. That's one thing. So you might want to add it in creating that profile. What color do they like? What movie do they like? Or stuff like that. They like watching SpongeBob or something like that. So when they log into the app, they've seen SpongeBob and there's like, there's this thing that will just make them feel better a bit. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So you might want to add that to the future you're creating. So let's go to frustration. So we can use this to create our empathy map. So we have overwhelmed. Okay. Lack of so see what about what I said now. Lack of personalized recommendation. So I'm giving a solution, a feature that solves that. Okay, overwhelmed, lack of persistence. That's a feeling right there. where Sarah is struggling to stay consistent with tracking their mental health using this app. Okay. So, and another question is, how do you think they can track their mental health using the app? Because the app is not, it doesn't understand how I feel. It's not a physical thing, or it's not that when they look at me or when they touch my hand, they know something is wrong. So, is there a way for them to, are they imputing a data that will help them track the mental health? So, you want to do something that won't go too granular, something simple that just on the soft face, right? That would explain how they can track. So you know there are different ways you can track your mental health. So like for ladies now, you might want to track it when your period is coming because you might feel funny in a way. So do you want to use that to track it for ladies? Do you want to ask things like that? So you know at a particular point in the month, you know that you already know there's going to be like a little bit of mood swing when it's close to when you are supposed to see your period and stuff like that. For me, what are the things do you want to use to track that? I think I'm going to check for the meal also. Then we have generic insights. Some recommendations provided by this have failed to address our unique challenges here, such as and then which is I've not seen any applications that have solved this problem actually. Coming from someone that uses a lot of mental health application. So I'm going to see for the guide to adapt to the ups and downs of freelancing, living in feeling unsupported during this stressful period, lack of progress tracking. So when you say inconsistent support, how will the applications know that this? So that's why I said this is going to have to do with the data you are feeding to the application, right? So you need to find a way to be able to ask those questions in a very simple way. So he said when he's feeling overwhelmed in his freelancing schedule. So when does he do his freelancing thing? Is it in the morning? Is it 5 times a week? Or how is his schedule like? So you know what, as the application, you want to know how you want to support him. Do you want to send him like motivational quotes this morning, like you got this, and stuff like that? So you want to be able to know when your user would need that motivational quote. Is it going to be every morning, or is it going to be in the evening or afternoon that you know is really working and there's a pop-up and just say, I'm meeting for you, you're doing well and stuff like that. And you also want to, okay, to factor if this person is a Gen Z or a millennial and stuff. So I feel like using some words like Ogaya doing well, OG, all those stuff can also be a little bit relatable, because when you feel like you're like, oh, okay, that's stuff like that. So you want to factor that to into. So let's just go into creating the empathy map. So I don't bore you guys with my talk. Okay, so I'm going to just duplicate. Let me move this one aside here so I can duplicate it. So I'm going to name this for the health app. So the owner can see it and I'm going to duplicate this and use mental health. So let's go right into it. I think I already copied one of the fields. Yeah, I already did. So I'm going to change it to make it bigger. So we already have one of our reviews. So we want something on what it says. I think we've seen that when the user personnel on the mail site said something about being inconsistent on like when checking on him when he's having his freelancing ups and downs. I'm trying to see where I found that. Now, okay, this is it. All right, so it said something about this. So this is about something it says. So, and we can also use the. So this is something on what it says. So let's go to, so we have do and think. Let's pick up Sarah again. Let's the personal image. Trying to figure out to use this for our do and think. I think that's what we are looking for now. Customize support. Okay. Relevant insights. Quick, okay. Quick and simple input of data. So this can be our do. Like I said, how do you want to collect those data from your users, right? So you need to find a way to be able to do it in a simple way, and like for your case study, and you need to consider as your case study. So a very simple way where you want to collect those data, whereby you'll be able to track or know what your user is currently feeling. And so this is for um so yeah. Okay. Right. So I'm just going to write quick and simple way to yeah. So input my data input. So we are going to, the last one we're looking for is think, what the person is currently thinking, or what does he think that the person. Let me be sure if we are looking for think. Yeah, we are looking for think. So let's go to the mail. So let's see what the person is doing next. Visual appealing and engaging UI, work-life balance. Okay. Can the application help you to achieve work-life balance? Personal empowerment. Mhm. So let's see what it changes. I think we'll see more of that. Yeah. Sometimes it's difficult. Okay, let's see if I think he can achieve a work-life balance. I don't want to use more frustration here. So what's his name? His name is Mike, and he wants to achieve work-life balance. I think he can achieve work-life balance. So we have our, I need to be sure. I'm not repeating anything. So I'm going to say, I forgot his name. Let's say we want to achieve work-life balance. Okay. I think we have that. And then change the color. So we have our two empathy map, one for the health app, and we have one for mental health. So you can also use this to create yours, and you can use this to create yours. This example I created. So do we have any question before we round up with class? Before we end the class, because we are done, so I can take questions, feedback. All right. This way.
Good evening. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so my question is, I I think it's quite simple. My question goes like this. Do you mean if we are trying to do like the empathy mapping thing, we don't have to carry out another interview on let's say users? We just have to pick from the one we already did, that's the user persona. We just have to pick, we just have to brainstorm the whole feedback we got and pick from it to create our empathy mapping.
Okay. So before I went into creating the empathy map, I said something about should we create a question for user interview collecting the first data, and you guys said I can go ahead to create empathy map. So the user personnel is more of the results you got from your user interview, right? So user personnel is about categorizing your users into sections or into a demographic. So that's why most time you have two user category, user personnel, which is you want to categorize the user maybe based on gender or based on age or stuff like that. So it's basically means you've done your user research, right? And you've categorized your users and all the data, and that's how you came up with your user personnel. So if you think you are fine with the user personnel you created, which is from your user research, you can use that. Or if you think you want to create a whole user research all over again, then you can do that. So that's why I said, since you already have a user personnel, that means you've done your user research or you already understand the pain, the frustration, and what your user needs. And we can, since you have a user personnel, then we can move to empathy map. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. Do you have any other question or feedback or what you think, like any idea? Anyone? Should I call in? Alright, so I think I'm just going to call two people just to listen to what they've said, what they've learned or what they think about the idea. So I'm going to call for what I have on my screen. So I have Grace Cole. Grace, are you there? Can you just share me what you think or about what you've learned? Grace, Grace Cole. Okay, so online. Let's call somebody else. So I'm going to call Chinon. So, Abi, yeah, I think it's Chinon. So,
Hi, good evening, everyone.
hi, good evening.
Yeah, kind of just joining the class right now, but I'm going to say from what I just saw you do a few minutes ago that to get an empathy map, like from what the last person asked, which was a question in my head, do we need to go over the interview and all that again? But you said no. So I think one thing I've grabbed in as much as I came in late is that I can generate an empathy map from the research I have already that gave me the persona that I am using for my research. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, guys. Thank you so much for attending my class. And tomorrow, let me confirm. Let me check again what we are doing. So we'll be discussing tomorrow. So tomorrow we are going to be sketching our solution and ideation, like create an ideation on it and brainstorming ideas on it. So if your application is like the one we went through, mental health and health application, so you want to download applications online that cater to what your solution you're trying to create, right? So just go through them and see and observe the things you've seen about the applications, and you feel like, I want to add this to my question. I don't want to add this. So just getting screenshot and stuff like that. You can do that. I get inspiration more from real life products than using Dribble or Figma, Dribble or Behance. So if you don't have an account, you can create an account on Dribble too and Behance. So you get a lot of inspirations from there. So tomorrow, then we can just come and brainstorm ideas together and let's see what we can create together. So thank you so much, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Are we done for tonight?
Yes, we are. We are.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.